So this is funny. I'm talking with my friend Leslie, who we met at an event. Gosh, when has it been? A few months ago now.
Yeah, it was in early August in San Diego.
Early August, and we had just an immediate connection in terms of, you know, things that we have in common and just different things that we're aligned with. And so, anyway, we were just talking, and she is starting a new live show. And I was like, you know what? I feel like we should go live and talk about her live show.
I know you're so spontaneous. Like, Stacey, we're just like hanging out talking, and you're like, "Do you want to go live right now?" And I'm like, "Why not? It's really fun to do it. Why not?" And this is really what, you're encouraging everybody to do, to just do it, right? With your like
Yes.
show and your brand and everything. And I'm also just trying to encourage myself to just do it too. So here we are.
Yeah, and you were just telling, so it's funny, you guys, we ended up, we did a podcast interview just like a few weeks ago, and you can find it on the podcast. I'll put it in the link in the comments after, but, um, and this live stream, because you had just launched your book, which if you can't tell from the ticker we have on there, is called 7 Keys to 7 Figures. And she just finished the launch party. And then I asked what she was doing next. And that's when we started talking about the live show. And I love what you said about that invisibility piece, because I love when people see the power of being able to like come out from the shadow, and be able to expand in that way. And I'd love to just kind of like have you share what is inspiring this live show that you're going to be doing, and what is going on with all of that.
Yeah, totally. So, one of the pain points and like issues that I had for so long is this incredible feeling of feeling not seen and feeling very, very invisible. So, just some background. I have a business, I have a women's clothing line, and I make beautiful clothing in Bali, Indonesia. The brand is called Back from Bali, and I bring the clothes back into the United States, imported in, and I sell it primarily online, mostly on Amazon and my website. And my business has done really, really well. But the whole, running an e-commerce business means you're kind of like behind your desk all the time and not really talking to any like human beings ever. It's like Excel sheets and uploading pictures and different things that I have to do with the business. But it's not really like working with like human beings that much,
Mhm.
except for small amounts with my team and stuff. So I was feeling for like so many years this kind of pain feeling of feeling not seen, because I felt like I had learned so much from my business. I was really able to make so many changes that kind of ricocheted my business, right? And I felt I had all this wisdom and knowledge and everything, and I just wasn't. I was always being passed over, is how I felt. And I followed lots of great coaches and podcasts and all kinds of stuff, and I started to feel this real feeling of envy and jealousy of, why doesn't anybody see me? And so that feeling of invisibility is, I think, something that a lot of women feel.
Mhm.
And because when I think about it, I think about like, what is the thing that we all yearn for more than anything? And I think it's about being seen, that we're actually seen, and that we have a validation of being valued. And I think that's what the whole invisibility thing is about. So anyway, because I wrote this book, because I started to do lives, because I have a newsletter and I kind of became visible, I kind of healed my visibility issue. And I started to think, I bet I can help maybe other women heal their visibility issue. So my idea is to have a live stream show called She Rises, and we are launching this next week. We're being very spontaneous about it. There's not much planning. I just want to go for it and do the thing, right, Stacey, as you always say to do. And we're doing it next Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So what it's called is She Rises, giving women visibility as they rise. And so I want to have women entrepreneurs on at any stage of their business, from like just started to being in business for 30 years, and to give women an opportunity to get behind the camera and to express themselves and to become visible, and really so they can experience that feeling also of giving and being seen and helping others as well. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I'm like looking because I did a podcast interview earlier and I'm trying to see if I wrote it down, but she was saying it was something about when you're called, and it's like listening to the call, and then it's like you're the one that gets to give that gift, right? Of being able to fall into it. But what you're doing with this live show is now you're giving them the gift
Yeah.
to be able to show themselves.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I mean, my book, Seven Keys to Seven Figures, The Women Entrepreneur's Guide to Money and Freedom. The purpose of the book is to help women rise. And that's the whole purpose of this book. And this, I want to now like kind of gift to other women opportunity to really, express why they started their business and what was the impetus to do it. Because everybody has a story of like why
Yeah.
they started their business, right?
So good. So we were kind of talking a little bit before about what questions you're thinking of asking. Is there any kind of idea of what you're going to do yet? Or do you think you're just going to have it be more of an active conversation?
No, for some reason, I had this idea. Wouldn't it be fun to like ask everybody like the exact same questions? Like maybe have like 3 or 4 questions. I'm still not sure if it's a good idea, but that's kind of what my thinking was. So, of course, the first question I think would be like, what was the impetus to start your business? Like, what's your story? Like, mine was I didn't want to get a job. And that was really what it was. And I would do anything to not get a job. So, everybody has a story as to like how they started and why they started and what kicked them in the butt to do it. That would be the first question. I really want to explore this issue around visibility with women.
Mhm.
And I think maybe another question would be like, do you think women have issues around visibility? Because maybe not every woman does, but
Mhm.
I think it's a really common issue. I mean, what do you think, Stacey?
Oh, 100%. I've actually done quite a few podcast interviews on this too. And even I interviewed, do you know John Lee Dumas? He's like big podcaster, millions of views and all that stuff. And his wife works with him. They're part of the Entrepreneurs on Fire. And she's like the opposite of what I would expect from someone to say, invisible, and she said like she pretty much lived her life invisible, until she started to get her voice out there. And so it's just so common among people. And a lot of people were streaming, I think, right now. And we went live so fast that I don't even know. I think we're in both groups right now, but we might even be on YouTube. But anyway, I even in these groups, it's like that's kind of what I'm attracting, because that's where I was, where it's like just kind of like hiding for so long without even realizing it,
Yeah, hiding,
and
right.
even in my company, like I owned a staffing company for 20 years, and I wouldn't even speak. Like I would get asked to speak at associations, and then I had this amazing person that worked for me that was like so good that I'm like, oh, could you speak? And she grew. I kept seeing her grow, and it was like really cool to see that. But I just wasn't even. I don't know if it was a confidence or what it was, but I just wasn't ready yet, I guess. But now I'm like running towards any opportunity, I can, because I guess I could see the impact it has when people can relate to something I've said. But yeah, I definitely think I think it's very common. I think that's a really good thing to ponder over as you're exploring the live show, because I imagine as you talk to each person, you're going to get a different response on, both how they feel invisible or felt, and then how they've been coming out of it.
Do you think women have more of an issue of this than men?
I do. I do, but I would be curious. It might be interesting to interview a guy, to see what they say, because I interviewed someone yesterday here. Actually, it was a live that we did. And he said things that I never would have imagined, you know what I mean, from the guy's perspective. So I definitely think it'd be fun to explore that.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I know do you know Claire Zammit from
No.
Empower? She's one of my mentors, and her course that I took years ago, like is really what started me on the invisibility, or rather the visibility change. And, she always talks about how there's, certain, I think there's seven, seven keys, seven that there's seven. There's like
In the
certain, you
making.
know, big issues that pretty much all human beings have, like their body and their health and their relationships and work life and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things she has in there for women is visibility, that this is really something that so many women suffer from. And, when I think about my friends, I have one friend who I think she really doesn't suffer from visibility at all. She's really out there. And I've always been so like enamored at her confidence, that it's been just like such a strong confidence. And I have to wonder, like, where did this confidence really come from? And does it come from, like our mothers? And, what is the issues here that women feel so scared to be seen, and yet at the same time, like yearning to be seen, right? Yearning to have some value, or shown to have value. Oops, Stacey, you just went mute on me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my dog was barking, so I muted it and then I forgot. Thank you. I'm so glad you said something. We're right in the middle of the Dating Dare Challenge right now in the singles community. And that's the reason why the thing that I have them doing every day is an act of self-love. Some kind of like thing of either like looking at yourself and saying, I love you, or what do you love about yourself? Because until you can really see yourself, it's hard to be seen, and the more that you pour in, and if there's any holes in your inner, self, then it's going to just come out. And so I think that's really, just so important for people to know that. I want people to know, though, we're also doing fun stuff. Today we did a thumb wrestling thing with a stranger. So, or rock, paper, scissors, depending on if you don't want to shake hands. But anyway.
This thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I just taught that to my husband the other day. He's Swiss, and I guess they didn't do this in Switzerland.
Oh, I know. It was funny because I gave the dare last night for today, which is like thumb wrestle a stranger, or if you don't want to shake, if you're not like comfortable touching hands, you could do rock, paper, scissors. Yeah. And I was driving home, and I ended up just seeing a couple of guys like on the street, like in the area where I am. And I pulled over, and then I thumb wrestled a stranger, got it on recording. And then the guy was from England, and he was like, is this what you guys do in America? He just had like so much fun with it. He's like, is this really what you guys do?
You mean you just stopped some guy on the street and said, would you like to thumb wrestle with me?
I said I'm in a challenge, and I've been dared to thumb wrestle a stranger, and would you?
That's great.
Anyway, yeah, so cool. And then it's great. And I think you guys, Leslie's so good at helping people see their value. I know we've had a lot of personal conversations right at the moment that I was like kind of in this weird spot, and you helped me break through on that too. And so it's amazing to surround yourself with people who are doing either what you want to do or doing what you're doing, because that's when you're going to be able to grow and elevate together, and so I'm grateful that we were able to we're like just chatting today, and I'm like, oh my God, you're doing a live show. We have to go live and talk about it. So anyway, thanks for doing this like last minute.
Absolutely. Yeah. She rises. This is, what I just want to help others and give other women like the platform, so anybody listening who's really interested, I'm keeping a list here. The only criteria is being a woman and having a business, some kind of business, being an entrepreneur, because that's who we're trying to help rise.
So good. And how can they find the show next week when you're going live also?
Yeah, so it's going to be live, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. So Leslie Kuster, so you can just go to my profile page on Facebook or my profile page on LinkedIn as well. And just find it that way. It's really easy. You don't need a link or anything like that. You just go to the social media platforms to me, and I'll be live.
Perfect. And then if they want to be interviewed, do they just message you on one of those
That
platforms?
would be great, but I'll give you my email as
Oh,
well. Okay,
perfect.
that would be really good. If anyone wants to be interviewed, and I would love you to be, then just email me at leslie@lesliekuster.com.
So good. Well, thanks for doing this with me. I appreciate it. I love you mentioned spontaneity. I'm going to repeat your word, the spontaneity of the moment, because I'm like, this is so good.
I love it. All right, thank you again. You're fun. I love how fun you are, Stacey. It's
Thank
great.
you. And I want to point out to you guys, like, it's so cool because Leslie's still in this creation phase, figuring out what she wants to ask and who she's interviewing. And the fact that you're doing it, you're just an example and an inspiration to people to show that you don't have to have everything all figured out, perfectly. You can be moving and co-creating at this moment. Oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, how do you spell the last name? Okay, so Leslie is Leslie, and Kuster is Kuster. I'm married to a Swiss guy, so it's pronounced Kuster instead of Custer. Then you buy the email in here.
Oh, put the email. I'll put the email. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah,
Put the
that's
email
perfect.
there. Yeah, absolutely. It would be so much fun, and I'm excited about doing this. The book just came out really just 2 weeks ago, and one of the funnest parts about launching this book was how many interviews I did. And I started to interview women who purchased the book, and I realized like there's like this hunger, of other women, and just like I had the hunger also. And so
Yeah.
that's what She Rises will be all about. So cool. Thanks, Stacey.
Yeah, I love that wording, hunger. I think that's such a good name for it. I feel the emotional heaviness of that when you say it, of just that like yearning hunger, of people wanting to just be seen, like you said.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, we are tuning out, and to do the thing, don't wait for opportunity. Create it.